This is the SEO Stats Checker. I'm going to load up some domains and proxies and start it, and then we'll talk about what it does. Let's load up 98 domains here, and I have a few proxies. Set the pretty low thread count, hit run, and okay. So what this is it is a program that allows you to load in a list of domains like you just saw, load in a list of proxies, and then it's going to go out and check for a bunch of information that's SEO related for that list that you put in. So as you can see, I loaded a list of mostly top level domains, just scraped up some lists. I think these are all pretty popular sites. And basically what it's going to do is it's going to check all of these different stats for each of the URLs. Now you can load up a list of normal URLs, but I built this with people who are going to be using it to build PBNs in mind. So those who want to build private blog networks, who are actively searching for new domains to put in there, what they need to do is they need to scrape large lists or crawl sites for domains, things like that, and then they need to filter out a bunch of the bad stuff from the good stuff, right? So they want to take a list of maybe some hundreds or even thousands of domains, and they want to check certain stats and be able to look through that list and start picking out the ones that look good to them. Now these, like I said, these are all pretty popular sites, I think, and so their stats are of course going to be off the charts, but it'll look very different if you have a list of just normal domains. So what does it check? Well, this DNS fail is basically a domain availability checker. I just named it DNS fail because that's what it does. Now, for this list of popular sites, they're probably all going to be no's. If it says yes, that means that there's a high probability that that domain is available. What this is going to do is it's going to see basically if the domain name is hosted. And if it's hosted, then that means the domain is not available basically 100% of the time. So when it says no, that means it's just not available to register. But if it says yes, that means about 80% of the time or so it is available. So it's a very fast, sort of like low cost check, if you will, without us having to ping some other service or do some other crazy stuff. I talk about it in the source code video. I go on a little rant about it, but about the working with the Whois people. But long story short, this is basically a domain availability checker, and of course you can change this to say like domain availability or availability if you want. Just for me, I like to put DNS fail because I know exactly what it means. We have the domain authority. This is from Moz, and so is the links. This is the like backlinks count to the URL. So this is some Moz info. This is running on a separate thread. I have a 40-minute source code video, by the way, that talks about all the important stuff. So don't worry about that if you're a little confused right now. But this is Moz info. This WBR stands for Wayback Results. This is the amount of times the Wayback Machine has crawled the site, or the URL, I should say. The WBCD, this is Wayback Create Date. It gives you the month and year. So this is the first time the site was seen in the Wayback Machine. This is a good way to gauge basically when the site was created, as well as how often it was updated. And if you ever want to take a look at like the Wayback result, all you have to do is right click, and we have all these other options, and one of them is openarchive.org, and that way you can see, oh, I see it's been crawled like a lot, it was a popular domain. Alexa, of course, gives you the Alexa ranking, which is a popularity ranking basically. And then we have the Facebook account. I believe it shares Google Plus as well as Pinterest. Another thing you can do, which you just saw me do, is you can right click. So you can open the URL to see what it's like. If maybe you're looking for backlinks or other things like that, you can check the who is to see information if you want to possibly register the domain, or if you're just curious to see more information about that specific domain. You can open up Alexa, because I find that Alexa also gives you some good information. You can open up Archive, which is the Wayback Machine basically, and then I think most of you guys know what this stuff is, but I'll just open up SimilarWeb here, because SimilarWeb is a site that gives you a lot of information. And as you can see, it's going to just tell you just like, traffic overview, referrals, search, social display. I mean, it gives you a lot of really good and relevant information about a website. And I find that this is one of the best websites to use when you're doing research. So I thought that would be pretty relevant and nice to stick in there. So this ripped through the 98 domains pretty quickly. I think I kind of want to start it again, but I'm just going to save this data for now. All right. Let's pull up that CSV. It's going to export that data into a CSV, and I'm just going to show you that real quick with the headers, of course. So it's got all the relevant info there. I'm going to load that same list of domains again. Just to show you real quick. So the Moz, you see how that just went to 10 like instantly? What the Moz is doing is it's running on like its own separate thing, and the way that I did it is we're using the Moz batch. So if you've ever been interested in maybe doing that code is in there, and I go over it in the source code video. But yeah, instead of calling one link at a time and then waiting for 10 seconds, it'll call as many as 10 at a time and then wait for 10 seconds. So it's much faster, and actually it's funny because if you set the threads kind of low, the Moz will end up winning out and beat the rest of the information. That's really only on like lower threads, of course, but so it's not so much of a bottleneck anymore, basically, is what I'm trying to say when you use the batch checker. And it still works with the free. This is a free Moz account that's on here. So yeah, so this is the SEO Stats Checker. And if you have any questions, feel free to PM me on the Ubot forums or email me at sales@iamautobots.com. This is source code. This is for people with the developer edition, people who are subscribed to updates, and the plugins will be listed below, but the premium plugins, it obviously uses the data grid and the HTTP post. And I think that's it as far as premium plugins go. The rest should be free. But all the relevant info will be listed below.